Hi everybody, Tina here with Loving Life's Little Blessings, and this is a Stampin' Up! Friday post. And I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to do some heat embossing. I'm going to make a card, and I'm going to do some heat embossing. So I thought that I would show you guys a couple fun techniques. So first I have, this is a piece of grid paper, and Stampin' Up! Does sell grid paper. You get 100 sheets, and it's $9.95. And I personally love having this. I just keep a stack of it, and it's a great work surface. And I'm going to be using this. I'm going to need this piece of paper. And so the other thing I have here is a dryer sheet. And it's just a regular dryer sheet. I just grabbed it from my laundry room. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub my dryer sheet all over my paper, just real briefly. And then I'm going to want to fold my grid paper in half and get a really good crease right down the middle, okay? So today I'm going to be making a card for a friend. Her mom died, and I want to make her a card, and so I thought it would be a good time to do some heat embossing. I really think that heat embossing makes a card look really pretty. And so I'm starting with a piece of basic gray cardstock, and I'm just going to cut that at 5.5. Okay, so I'll set that aside, and then I'm going to use Wistera Wonder, and then I'm going to use Very Vanilla. And so I want my Wistera Wonder piece to be 5.25 by 4. Okay, and then I want my Whisper White piece to be 5 by 3 3/4. Okay, so I have my pieces, and this is going to be fairly simple. I'm using the stamp set Thoughts and Prayers, and that can be found in your catalog on page 54. Let's just zoom right in so we can check it out. Page 54. This comes in clear mount or wood mount, and unfortunately I got it last year when it was in the catalog, and they only had it in wood mount. And if you guys have been following me, you know I really dislike wood mount stamps. So anyways, it's on page 54, and it's this really beautiful stamp set. And I'm going to be using this image and then the Sharing in Your Sorrow. I thought I'd show it to you in the catalog because I have it on wood mount. This also comes double mounted, and so you put one image on one side and one image on the other side, and I really dislike that. I don't feel like I can stamp as good with it, but the stamp set is just too beautiful. It was too beautiful not to have. So now you can get it in clear mount or in wood mount. Okay, so I have my base right here, and all that I'm going to do is I'm going to do some really simple layering. I just want my Wistera Wonder piece right here, and then I'm going to have my white piece right here. So I'm going to go ahead and attach my purple piece because we're not doing anything else to the Wistera Wonder layer. The other thing that grid paper is really good for is it kind of gives me a line to work with to line things up a little bit easier. So just like that. And then we're going to work with our white piece. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to be using some basic black embossing powder. And then I'm going to be using, you need a Versamark ink pad to do your heat embossing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rub my dryer sheet onto my white Whisper White cardstock. Some people, if you have an Embossing Buddy, it's the same idea. This is just going to help the embossing powder not to stick to my card everywhere, okay? So I'm going to take my Versamark and I'm going to take my stamp, and I like to do this part upside down. I like to press my stamp into my stamp pad into my stamp. With a Versamark, it's a clear type ink, or not ink, but it's a clear, and so you can see it's kind of shiny. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it in this corner, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just inking it up, and then I'm going to put it in this corner. Okay, so I have my image now on there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my embossing powder and I'm going to sprinkle it all over the image. And you can be really liberal. It's fine. Dump it all out. And then I'm going to take my card and flip it upside down, and I'm just going to try to tap as much of that excess off. This is a little bit messier of a technique. You can see it's all over my nails, it's all over my hands. So hopefully now I've gotten all the extra off. So I'm going to set this aside. And then the reason I folded this piece of paper now is because I'm going to fold it up, tap on both sides of it, and hopefully get all this back into my container. Lots of different ways. I know some people keep these in Tupperware containers so they're not in such small containers, but I just recently got into heat embossing, and so I haven't found a way that works for me real great yet. I'm going to go ahead and turn that over so that I'm not working on that extra if there's anything extra on there. So now I can just take and gently blow off anything extra that I see, or you got to be careful to not smear it on there, or once you heat emboss it, it's going to be on there. So I'm just going to take my heat tool, and it's going to be a little bit loud, okay, but I'm going to go over this image, and you're going to see the image get shiny. So you can see that image, it gets shiny. There it is. There's the shine. So when you heat it, it will get darker and shiny, and that's how you know you've done it right. So I'm going to let that cool a little bit because it's hot. The heat gun is very, very hot, so you want to be careful. That says sharing in your sorrow. I'm going to use my Stays On ink just because I feel like it's a little bit darker, and I want it to be dark against that embossing. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp right there in the middle. Sharing in your sorrow. And then I can just attach this right to the rest of my card. That is our card. And so I'll be able to write in the inside of it. I'll probably put a white base inside of it just so that I can write in it, but that is our card for today. So I'll have all the items listed below on this blog post, and you can go on over to my blog if you need more information, or you can email me at katinamartinez@live.com. And thank you so much for coming by the blog today and hanging out with me on YouTube, and I will see you guys later.